Hello, and welcome back to Seagulls Social, Series 3, Episode 38. I am one of your hosts, Ben. I'm with Maz and Ryan, and if you can't tell, I'm very deflated, very tired, and this is going to be a tough episode. Boys, how are we doing? Maz, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm alright, mate. I mean, obviously, not with the result, but in life, I'm alright. It was one of those things, isn't it? It's like, I'm sure we'll get into it, but we played well. We were the better side. You know, didn't take the chances, the few chances we had. I'm not saying we had loads of chances, and we weren't like drastically that good. I think we were actually quite under par from what we usually are. And it just wasn't our day. And then you get to penalties, and it's always going to be one. It's like a lottery, isn't it? Really, I know there's skill to it, and someone pointed out there is a skill to penalties, but also you could be the best penalty taker in the world, and come the occasion, you could miss a penalty. So,
someone has to miss.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's got to lose. So just one of those things. And of course, I was for about an hour after I was like, really bad in a bad way. But then, I just thought, do you know what? Man City are going to win the treble, so have that, Man United. and then I thought, you know what, Man United fans, you can suck a dick. How about that?
We could have put a stop to the treble, I reckon. Brian, how are you feeling after yesterday?
Yeah, my hurt it intensified about 20 past 8 this morning, when I was at the station waiting for a train. And I'm sure there are Palace fans at Billingshurst, probably if you're in Billingshurst. And there were just kids laughing about a Solly March. And obviously one of their mates was a Brighton fan, I'd assume. And they're taking a mick. Solly March skied it. How did he miss it? And I was just standing there because it was before I put my headphones in. And I just thought, 20 past 8 in the morning. I can't.
Imagine if you got clocked as well.
It's just the last
You'd be
thing.
Getting bullied by school
and I just
kids.
Thought, yeah, mate. It's when you hear school kids, like, don't get me wrong, school banter's funny, whatever. But when it's that early in the morning and you're just thinking, it's still a bit raw in it, and you just think, whatever. But anyway, it's all right because we get to bounce back nice and quickly against Nottingham Forest. Well, hopefully, in theory, anyway. That's what is a good.
Say, Ryan,
it gets the focus to move quickly.
It does. Like I say, the best way to get over someone is by getting under someone. And it's similar to in football. The best way to get over a result is to move on to another match. And Forest, please, we'll just do the business there. I hope the boys aren't too deflated for it. And that's the end of the podcast. Cheers for coming. Thank you very much. Mate, Ryan, your laugh sounded like Alexis McAllister's then. You're like, and it's a bit
it's the fake laugh, mate.
Okay.
And
it's a fake laugh.
What we'll say is, one thing I will say is a big message to Solly, because he must be, if we're deflated, I can't imagine what that boy's thinking this morning. It must be pretty tough. So I hope he's all right, because I hope he does use it as a bit of fuel. I know he'll put on his Instagram saying he's using it as something to push on for, but deep down it's going to hurt him, right? And I hope that if he bounced back at Forest, it is a good opportunity against, I know they're a tough team to play away or whatever, but it's a good opportunity for him to, potentially get a goal back, and that all of a sudden it will be forgotten if he can. So hopefully, it doesn't ring in his mind, because he's been fantastic this season. Even from the harshest Solly critic out there, he has been fantastic this year. He's been probably one of our best players, if not our best attacker, behind Matoma, really. And, you can't really knock him. So, yes, hopefully he's not taking anything too harsh, and, he bounces back.
Mm. Before we get too involved in the game, how was everyone's days? I absolutely loved it. It was a great day, which is probably why I'm also gutted, because just having those days out with your mates, going to Wembley is just incredible. They don't come around too often for Brighton anyway. Obviously, the bigger clubs, it's pretty much, for Man City, it's their home
next
from
year,
home.
mate,
They play there more than they do in other stadiums.
Yeah,
next year, hopefully, we'll do it again. But the day was incredible. I loved it so much. Shame I didn't get to link up to you with you two, but Maz, you went to Box Park, bumped into Ryan there. How was that?
I actually started in the Green Man.
Yeah, you started at the Green Man, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, started in the Green Man. I stayed there for about an hour and a bit. And then, headed over to Box Park. And, by the way, just on the Green Man, atmosphere was brilliant, really good. Like, it was quite funny. There was like a few tents, and like one of them was like a proper like basically like just ruckus, everyone
Like
chanting loads of songs. Like gazebos, and everyone was like going mad, singing songs. It was great. And then the other tent was a bit more reserved and sort of everyone was chilling. So I love the contrast between the two gazebos. That was good fun. And then we made our way down to Box Park. And again, atmosphere was class. Like there was one point where everyone was like swinging their scarves in the air, and the music was pumping, and it was just good vibes. A lot of people there, like a lot of ex-players as well. Dale Stevens, I saw Steve Sidwell.
Yeah, Dale was Steve Sidwell.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a good few faces as well. So yeah, and Box Park was great. And then obviously headed to the stadium. Obviously linked up with Ryan in Box Park, obviously. And then headed over to the stadium about 45 minutes before kick-off, and then the rest is history.
Yeah, we're with a celebrity, as Brett Mendoza said on his tweet. Ryan, how was your pre-match? You went on Sky Sports, which is for the second time, that was sick. I saw that screenshot this morning, so first time I went on my phone.
Yeah,
that must have been.
Do you know what? I like to use this.
Mate.
Yeah, no, it was cool. Do you know what? It was fun. I only found out really quite soon before the actual trip, and I was only parking up on the park on your drive thing. So I was parking up on one of them, and Paul Cameron, Paul, messaged me. He was like, "Oh, when you're at Box Park?" I said, "Oh, I'll be in the next 20 minutes. I'm just parking up now." And he says, "Yes, Sky want you for 135." I was like, "Okay,
cool.
All right, come in." And all of a sudden, next thing I know, the cameraman's on the phone. He's like, "Hello, mate. Yeah." I was like, "Oh, yeah, all right, mate. Yeah, come in." And nice little VIP entrance. And in there was Tony Bloom and Paul Barber. And now I was just standing there.
No way,
"Hello, guys. You're right. Yeah, yeah." I was like, thinking no pressure.
That was well cool.
And Tony Bloom was standing next to me while I was doing it. But it was. I don't think they saw me, but it was.
Mate, that must have been surreal, though.
It was cool.
I thought they probably did.
Yeah, I didn't speak to them though. Like when I'd finished and all the lights had gone and whatever, I turned around and Bloom was talking to someone else because I wanted to make a thing of sort of going over to say something, but he was still talking, so I thought I looked like a bit of a weirdo just sort of hanging about on my own. So I just made my way out. I thought, okay, I won't stick around too much. But yeah, I was going to milk it a little bit, but I couldn't just take the mick, if you know what I mean. But I did see they put the Seagulls Social tag on the Sky thing, which is good.
Yeah,
I rate that. I didn't know,
honestly,
I didn't know what they were
really
going to put
surreal.
on, so I was like, rate that.
It's super surreal seeing that. Obviously class for you flying the flag for us as well. Very, very good. Seagulls Social to the moon, as we keep saying recently.
To the moon.
So let's move on to the match, I guess, if we have to. I reckon first half, better
If we
team.
have to. Let's talk about each other's days if you want, mate.
Yeah, no, I would rather just do that. It was really good. But it was. The pre-match was great, as it always is. The match atmosphere was great. We all had our flags, didn't we? And then I was thinking, God, Man United haven't got anything. I thought that was really strange. And then literally right towards the end, they all had their plaques up, and then they got the TIFO out, and I was like, okay, yeah, fair play. That looks pretty sick. Still probably preferred our flags, the blue and white stuff. But pre-match was great. I think I haven't been that early into a stadium before for a long, long time. But obviously you had to do that to soak up the atmosphere and stuff. And it was well worth it. Brilliant. I think the fans were great. It's always really difficult, I'll be honest, like when you're in a big stadium and you get Spurs away was the last time I had it, trying to match up the atmosphere, and it's really, really difficult when you've got a pocket of fans like in that standing section, trying to start songs and then have 35,000 other people on our half try and sing it with us. It's very difficult, but so there's a lot of Albion and the Seagulls chants, not as many of like the individual ones that I can remember, but what did you make of our atmosphere? What was it like where you guys were sitting? Maz, we'll go with you.
Yeah, mate. I was in the upper tier, and do you know what? Really weirdly as well, I didn't expect it. I think Dale Stevens was sat up there, so I was like, why is he up here with the rest of us peasants?
Yeah,
should be
you think you'd have like good
Royal
seats.
Yeah. I was like,
To be
surely
fair,
he can't be
he
up
went
here.
City
But,
away as well. I saw him in the City away end once. So yeah, Dale
Was he?
must go home and away for us. That's he actually was. I forgot about that. That's actually rung a bell.
Yeah, and apparently as well, I don't know how true this is, but my mate was saying that apparently Dunkey's missus was up there as well. So I was like, what's going on here then? Anyway, so he must have had the best seats, I think. But no, I was up in the gods, and it was really good atmosphere, really good, really loud, people getting involved, like you said, Ben. Like when sort of the lower tiers were starting the chants, everyone was joining in the upper tiers, and then it was just good. Oh, when we were literally right next to the Man United fans, literally on the border,
side,
Oh,
and it wasn't too bad, to be fair. They weren't giving it they weren't really giving it much at all, to be honest.
No, not at all.
They were pretty
Wembley,
quiet because it's not really. Yeah, it's Wembley, and also it's not really like we don't have a history apart from the Fernandes 10th, 120th minute penalty, whatever, in the league. We don't really have anything. We don't have any animosity with Man United fans, so it was a bit, a few times.
Other than my brother.
Yeah. There's a few times where like a 12-year-old kid would sit up and do the wanker sign. Yeah,
literally.
But apart from the little 12-year-old kids, there wasn't really much going on. But no, the atmosphere was great, and I thought what the club obviously put on, like the flags, those added little touches was really nice as well. It was a really good experience.
And what did you make of it?
Yeah, I was down in right at the bottom. I was literally row 2. I think I made a big mistake, and I always said if we get to the final, I definitely would do it again. It was 128. I don't know if anyone was in that sort of section, but oh my God, I don't know about you guys, but there was people coming up and down, sitting everyone down again, and it was driving me mad. Like, it really, really was driving me mad. So I just sit down the whole game. It just wasn't fun. I don't like going to grounds and sitting down. I don't know, it's just one of them. But I should have known better than to get them seats.
I like to sit down,
but no, I'm not for it. I should have gone behind the goal. I knew I should have gone behind the goal. I wanted something different because I'd always gone behind the goal. And I thought, the only 2 times I've been to Wembley, I've been behind. And I thought, let's go somewhere else, see a bit of a different perspective. But good view, bad mistake, is what it is, move on. Not going to be there for the final, but we'll be there next year. But the atmosphere was good. And to be fair, during the game it was a bit dead, but during the penalty shootout, it was pretty good. And
penalty shootout was class.
We just got to take it. Yeah.
Yeah. I see. Kind of similar to me. What was really pissed me off was like all the United fans were stood up, even on the top tier next to me. And I was like, why are we getting told to sit down where all the United fans were stood up? I don't know if you could see it near you, Maz, where they stood up where you were, but for us, all I could see was standing up Man United fans. And
they were all stood up.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, Ryan, sorry. We tried to fix the delay. Hopefully we have. If not, just switch off now. Yeah. Let's get on to the game. I think we started off well, didn't we? Thing I can remember straight away is maybe Alexis's free kick. Matoma down the left looked good. The main concern straight away, which is something that I spoke about pre-match, I think was just my mates though, was Pascal Gross versus Rashford. I think there was one time when he got through and I thought, oh God, this could be a long day. And it was a shame because I was like, they looked quite good. Obviously not as bad as they probably weren't ever going to be as bad as they were against Seville, but they looked better. Ryan, did you think that they were going to be a tough opposition after those first 10 minutes? Do you think this match isn't going to be as easy as some people probably thought it would be?
To be honest with you, mate, as soon as I saw that Maguire wasn't playing, I thought it was going to be a tougher game. I was kind of annoyed. I wanted Maguire to be playing. I said this to Maz as well before the game. We were saying we'd rather Maguire play, which is it's mad. But I know what you mean. 10 minutes in. Yeah, I just know. We just felt like the better team. We looked pretty in command. I mean, the majority of the game, we looked pretty in command, to be honest with you. I know that they had a couple of chances, probably had the better chances on the face of actually nearly scoring, if you know what I mean. But I don't think we were bad at all. I think, we were the better team on the balance of the game, but we started well. I thought they were there for the taking. I thought if there was ever an opportunity for us to get to a final, it was yesterday, because to beat a team like United of that prestige, they certainly weren't playing like it. And if you were to switch the kits around, you probably would have said that was more accurate. I don't think we made a fool of ourselves by any stretch, but it's just one of them, isn't it? Because when you don't take those chances, when you don't finish that off, and I even put a tweet on at half time saying, we need to make it count, and the longer it goes on without making it count, it does tend to swing. And De Zerbi actually said it after the game, didn't he? He said penalty shootouts are usually won by those who don't deserve it, and it seemed as though that was true.
By the worst team, wasn't it? That was bold, and I rated it. You can tell he was obviously hurt, like everyone was. I can't remember the question, mate. My brain is absolutely frazzled. But, it's more Maz. But did you share those concerns? Did you share those concerns about Man United?
No, do you know what? There was a few times where, I don't know, an Anthony or a Rashford, did look a little bit. I thought their pace might be a problem, just because of like we said, the lack of Gross's pace at right back, and obviously Estepinian obviously pretty rapid, so I wasn't really worried too much on his. He was great on his side, but There was a few times I was a bit like, oh, okay, maybe. And I remember I think Webster made a mistake, I believe, where Fernandes had the shot, and it was a good save from Sanchez in the first half. But aside from that, no, I'll be honest, I just felt like we looked pretty comfortable. We went into half time. I was going into half time. I was like, look, we're the better side. We should be winning this game really on the whole. But of course, Man United do have players that can hurt you. As we saw, Fernandes had a few chances himself. They got some good players. It's not like they don't have any quality at all. But I thought on the whole, they didn't really threaten us too much, and there wasn't like too many moments where I had my hands in my mouth and thinking, "Oh God, we're going to concede here." So, to answer your question, not really, but we were wasteful in front of goal, unfortunately, and we simply just didn't take our chances, and it's simple as that. And I think we were actually under our. As we know how well we can play, and I think we were well below that. I think we were under par, and I think as a credit to us, we still outplayed them being under par, which I thought, that's something to take out of the game. Because like you look at, I don't want to single players out, but I don't think they were at the level as we know. Like Matoma wasn't at the level as we know he can play. Who else? To sort of pick it up. Solly March on the whole played pretty decent, but again, I think he can hit another level. So I'm not saying they played bad, but I don't think they played as well as they could have. And I think that's what the frustration was. Whereas on the flip side, Lewis Dunk, Caicedo, and Sanchez, and maybe Webster as well, were exceptional. So I think if everyone played on their level, we would have wiped the floor with them 3-4-0. But unfortunately, it just didn't. The whole team didn't gel as we know they can on our best days.
And I think, the only positive you can take is that hopefully the big teams watching probably thought, maybe they aren't big game players and maybe we should look elsewhere with Alexis and Matoma and that sort of thing. I know probably Caicedo was probably the shining light in that midfield. Maybe Alexis kind of went missing. I don't know. He obviously is still fairly good, but not as good as he has been or can be.
I heard a really wild thing today.
What really let us down was the final third, though.
Yeah, I was going to just butt in there because you said about Moises and Alexis, and I had someone I love both of these guys, right? They're fantastic, best probably double pivot in the league, right? By imaginable stretch. But someone said to me today that Caicedo is not as good as anyone makes out, and Alexis is far better. And if both of them were to leave, Caicedo would flop and McAllister would shine. And I just thought, oh my God, that's horrendous. That is such a bad opinion. And I just couldn't believe that someone could think that about Moises. Yeah. I was like, what?
I saw a few comments about Moises Caicedo yesterday as well, like he's not as good as people are making out. And I was like, he was by far the best player on the pitch for both teams. He was by far the best. He was just a general.
He won player of the match for a reason.
No, exactly. And he just bossed the midfield. And I thought he was exceptional. And to be fair to Mac, do you know what? I thought he'd done the basic things right. I don't think, again, he didn't play up to his usual maybe level, but I thought he was pretty good, to be honest. I can't really pick out anyone apart from one player, which I don't want to dig this person out, but it was just one player that we will. I will. Sure. Apart from Dennis Undav, everyone else played brilliantly. So you know what it was
with Alexis. He was wearing those boots that some bloke from ESPN made him, and I respect some of the art and boots that he's made before. Look good, but I even done a tweet on Seagulls Social being like, it's the thought that counts, but the boots are disgraceful. Like they were horrible. Some guy who like made custom boots, like all he did was put like AM on the back, and then made them like all gold with like some light blue and whites where the Adidas stripes are. That looks horrendous, and I was surprised Alexis wore them. I thought he'd probably just hang them up, but yeah, he actually wore them for the semi-final. I was like, weird. I don't know. I just find that weird. I thought I didn't think there would be things that he'd play in.
The World Cup ones,
just wear your normal football boots. Yeah.
But weird.
But yeah, straight. It was strange. I'm not going to have a go at someone for wearing different football boots, but I just did think that was odd. But maybe that was it. And I do think it was just the final third. And I guess people will expect us to talk about Dennis Undav. And it was a shame they had to get on the pitch. Obviously, whenever Ferguson got injured in the previous match, Danny Welbeck has to come in. Danny Welbeck gets injured, and we're forced to make a substitution. And this is one of the main points I wanted to make today as well, because last week we spoke about squad depth, and going into Europe we'll have squad depth. We'll have on the bench, we could have Moda back, we'll have a fit Sarmiento, we'll have a Dingra potentially, we'll have Buonanotte with a bit more experience. Who else? We'll have Alzate, hopefully, if he still wants to play for us. Yesterday, there was no one we could really bring on that was going to be a game changer, and that was, you could tell, because De Zerbi, if he could have and he wanted to, there were no like injuries or anything like that, he probably would have played that 11 for the whole game, maybe bringing on Veltman. I do question why maybe Veltman wasn't fit enough to start, but he played quite a lot of minutes in the end anyway. So the question that I have for De Zerbi is, why not start Veltman at right back, bring on Enciso afterwards when Veltman actually came on, when we've got fresh legs, because our players were so tired towards the end of that. And you could tell the difference between the two clubs and the two teams, because all the Man United players are used to those games. They're used to playing 120 minutes in semi-finals and whatnot. Whereas a lot of our players, that was probably their first semi-final. That was probably their first penalty shootout that they've had to do. And you could tell, and that was the really annoying thing. Like, we saw the Brighton players were constantly warming up and I was thinking, none of you are probably going to come on. And that was a shame. We were forced to bring in on Dennis Undav because Welbeck was injured. Welbeck probably would have played the whole game, and that was the disappointing thing. I think that's where we've fallen short, simply because obviously we aren't prepared for these bigger matches yet, and we're doing incredible, and we're out. What's the word I'm looking for? We're outperforming probably where we should be by getting to these positions because we've been so bloody good, but maybe the team and the squad depth isn't there to be able to beat these bigger teams and bigger clubs to then get to the final. I don't know what you boys think. No, that's a long-winded thing.
That's all right. I mean, look, I've got a lot to say about this as well, because I tweeted this out last night after the game. I said, I was super proud of the boys. I thought really good performance. But yeah, I did question the squad depth, more so in the attacking end, rather than sort of defensively midfield. I think attacking options. And it wasn't about someone, goes, oh, are you talking, do we need more players? And I was like, no, it's not about the amount of players we've got. Three strikers for a system playing only one striker is fine. But it's the quality that, for me, is an issue. So, of course, look, without Ferguson, Ferguson was there, I think we win that game. However, he wasn't there. So then you've got Welbeck and Undav, right? Now, respectfully, Dennis Undav is just not up to he's not up to Premier League standard, in my opinion. He's not up to the Premier League standard or what the level we need him to be at. And that's not to say you can't achieve that, but he was linked in January to go out on loan. I think he should have done that, and he should have come back with a bit more experience. And I just don't think he's ready at this level, which it was clear to see yesterday. And then you've got Danny Welbeck, who's great, a great option off the bench, and maybe to play 60 minutes or for whatever, a half, whatever. But again, he's injured more than he is fit. So to have those two options as your only striking options available after Ferguson's injured, I just don't think that's good enough. So it's not about, we need to bring in 6 strikers or 10 strikers. It's just about bringing in the right strikers and the right quality, and not ones that get injured or ones that aren't ready to play at this level yet. That's my thing, sort of look on it. And I actually, to be fair, Ben, I not disagree with you, but I don't think it was a case of like the players not. Because we pretty much outplayed them, not by margin, but we were the better side all the way up to the penalties.
I don't know. I disagree. I feel like we petered off towards the end of the game, and then extra time it was more kind of Man United.
I disagree. I think, what was it? When was the Matoma? Oh, that was in full time. That was 90 minutes, wasn't it? Yeah, the Matoma.
No, I think that was in extra time. Wasn't it, right?
That was in extra time.
When Matoma?
Sure.
No, the Matoma was. Yeah, that was before.
Yeah.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was extra. Well, yeah, it was extra time.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
I actually don't know,
yeah, so
ever since that Lindelof goal,
Yeah,
I think
it was
completely gone.
Yeah. But like that Matoma chance, for example, huge chance. Obviously, the Undav chance where it got played into him and he took that heavy touch, like that was all in extra time. And so, I think we pretty much could have won that game. And yeah, it did come down to, unfortunately, just not taking our chances ultimately. But in terms of the squad depth, to sort of round off, and I know I appreciate we've both given long-winded answers here, but I just think we need quality rather than bring in 10 players, 15 players. It's not about the amount of players you have. I think it's just having the right players in the squad.
I'm not doing an unfair comparison of saying that we should be able to bring on 5 substitutes like Man United did, like bringing on Fred, bringing on Weghorst, that sort of thing, and bigger players and maybe better players. I'm not saying that we should be in that position. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I feel like we're also forced to make 2 because of the Undav thing. I think Welbeck probably, to be fair, he probably wouldn't have lasted a full 120 maybe. But yeah, it was tough to see them bringing on all these bigger substitutes with fresh legs against the same 12 players and then the same 13 players. It was... it did feel like it was going to go one way. Next time was going to be tough.
Sorry, Ryan, I will let you say your piece on the squad.
No, mate, I'm enjoying this. Quickly, I'm enjoying this as a listener. I feel like I'm a fan at the minute. I'm just watching this on YouTube.
Love it. Just quickly on the Cisa thing, Ben, I completely agree with you. I think I know because of injuries and obviously, like for example, players like Lallana out and Ferguson out and etc. Voltman obviously a doubt before the game. I think Enciso would have been perfect off the bench. I think that he is such an impact player. To have him off the bench would have been fantastic. And I think, don't get me wrong, I thought he had a really good game when he played. And he looked lively. He looked like probably one of our better attacking options.
Gutted when he came off, didn't he? He stood in the centre circle, just like not walking off. I was like, oh, is he going to do a Kepa?
But imagine he came off the bench though. Like, imagine the impact he would have had in that final 30 minutes of extra time. Imagine the impact he would have had on the game. I think we could have maybe gone on to score a goal or two. So I think I completely agree with that. If there wasn't a but I'm sure De Zerbi knows best. He probably didn't. He couldn't rely on Veltman playing the full 90 maybe, or didn't expect us to go to extra time. So De Zerbi knows best. But it was just, I would have loved to have seen Enciso come off the bench and really impact the game, but it wasn't to be.
We didn't have the capacity. Brian, a lot to digest. What did you make of those two arguments? I think we covered a couple of different points there on Undav and also the whole squad depth and not being able to bring on any more substitutes, maybe because of quality or...
I forgot for a minute that I could actually speak, and then you guys would know that I've responded, and I'm not just talking about the screen. I forgot.
This is what it's like for us,
How the turntables?
Yeah,
that's great. I love it. But no, what was I even going to say? I was just going to say something about Enciso. Yeah, I was going to say the thing is with Julio. It's weird because he deserved to start, right? Because obviously he had a great game against Chelsea. He's good against Bournemouth. He was also good against the team before Bournemouth, who I can't remember who he played now. And you have to almost give him the...
play against Topsford, I don't think.
No, yeah. He came on, didn't he? I think. And then he was a bit he was all right and he didn't really have much of the ball. But yeah, I think you owe him the start, don't you, right? So he starts in a big game. You'd hope that you could get realistically we were looking for a goal in that first half. And I think if we did, game would have been a lot different, particularly if it was Julio that scored. I think he had a shot as well. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, maybe it's an occasion thing. It was a good save. Maybe it's an occasion thing. Maybe it's because we are a young team. It does make you appreciate the ages of McAllister, Caicedo, Julio, Mitoma as well. I mean, in terms of how long he's actually been in the game for. Solly, in terms of how long he's been at the top of his game for. Sanchez is also young, who had a great game. These players it's a new squad, right? And I think that you really notice that with this team we've got at the minute versus like the players that are left, for example, like Cucurella. Ben White's he's done well to be fair, but Dan Burn's gone a bit later in his career, but Cucurella is a very good example of one. Yves Bissouma as well. They're players that haven't played at that really good level. Bissouma was at this club, particularly when we were sort of scratching relegation. He had one good season here, as in terms of how the squad was, and then went. These are players that haven't really seen that top level. Whereas, if anything, Ben, I reckon it's more of an opportunity or a chance. I don't know what you think of promoting that the players should stay for another year or another 2 years, because it is, these big games will come around a lot more frequently for them.
Yeah, no, I did think that actually when they walked off, and I saw someone said Alexis walked straight down the tunnel. I don't know if that was true.
No, he went all the way through. Yeah, he came around like this for the first one. To be fair.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay, so must have been a weird
fake
tweet then.
News, Ben.
Yeah, fake news. Yeah. No, I can't. I did think that. I thought if we keep this team together, then we will be in these bigger games very, very soon again. Whether 100%. We do or not is obviously a tricky one, but it makes you. My mind did go though, thinking were Alexis and Caicedo looking at United celebrating and thinking, "Oh, we're the better team, but we still can't break that ceiling, even though we were the better team." And then I don't know, maybe would that make them change their minds? But I'm only asking the question.
Yeah, no, I think with regards to sort of, seeing a Manchester United, for example, and thinking we could have played Man City in the final, and imagine the occasion that would have been for a lot of the players to play, one of the arguably best teams ever create,
in front of 10,000 City fans and 35,000 fans.
Yeah. And of course, the players, of course, are going to be, gutted and think, if I was maybe at a bigger club, quote unquote, or a better, better team, again, quote unquote, then they might have got to the final. But I think if you look at just, again, I think touched on Ryan or Ben, I can't remember which one. It's one of you two anyway. Touched on like the how much we've grown in like such a short amount of time to even sit here, right, to discuss how disappointed we are at dominating a semi-final against Man United. Do you know how crazy that is? If you told a younger us, like, you know, obviously Ryan at the beginnings of the Amex era, us at the with Dean, like, imagine you told us as our younger selves, like, oh yeah, you boys would be dominating Man United in a semi-final of an FA Cup looking to secure qualification for Europe. You'd be thinking you're absolutely mental. Like,
what a waste of my time. Me and my brother literally said that on the morning. We were like, if you told us 11 years ago when we were at the with Dean, you say there would be a sporting derby in the semi-final of the FA Cup, and Brighton would still be pushing for Europe as well. Like, I was like, what a waste of time, what a waste of breath that was. There's no chance that ever happens.
Exactly. So like, it is insane. So hopefully, like, I know we're fans and we're so invested in the club, but hopefully the players also think about that, and like, especially like a Lewis Dunk, right, who's been there literally from
Dunk
with Dean
who
through
was mustard yesterday.
Yeah, who was like colossal. But like, imagine him going to the boys, look like, boys, like, look how mad it is, the journey we've been on. Like, let's go for another year, or give us one more season where,
even if we broke it down to like the last 3 years. What was it when Potter came 4 years ago? If you break it down to then, like,
4 years ago,
we were a team that was relegation threatened every year. I mean, it was only Potter's last year where we weren't fighting relegation, and that was last season. You know what I mean? So we were still associated with as a relegation team till last season. When you put it like that, it makes you, like, even as a Premier League fan, if you're too young to remember the Championship days fully, it makes you then appreciate how much you've changed in the Prem in 6 years. That to me is now just hitting me, and I'm like, whoa, yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I'm harsh and I want the best, and I still think we should. But equally, it's mad.
Yeah. Because that's the thing. Like, I'll speak. Weirdly, I was having a conversation. You know, when you're on your own on the train and you see like a fellow Brighton fan or whatever. It was one of them situations on the way back home, and I was chatting to this guy, and I was like, "It's crazy, isn't it?" So I had the same sort of like anecdote, but then I was like, "It's mad that we have that sort of entitlement of now when we talk about like the Bournemouths or the Southamptons, we're like, oh, we should be winning that game. You know, we're so much better than them." And it's like, how mad is that to think? The South Coast is ours, and it's crazy to even think that we're even having these conversations. So I think the message I'm trying to get across is that hopefully the players also think this, and hopefully that message can transpire to the McAllisters, Caicedos, the other players that are linked away from the club. Even Ferguson, I know he's been linked with a few big clubs now. Hopefully those players will look at it and go, do you know what? Let's give them one more season, and it depends. I think what happens from now till the end of the season, these 8 games to go. I think if we get Europe, I think there is a real possibility they'll stay. But if we don't get Europe in any capacity, I think it's going to be really, really tough to keep those players. But hopefully,
if Fabrizio carries on how he has been going,
our
whole squad's going to go right up. Because you're quote tweeting him every hour. Please tell the listeners if they've missed it what's been going on this week, because he's been posting all these different quotes from McAllister's dad, McAllister's dog walker, Caicedo's nan, everyone somehow.
It'd probably be quicker for me to talk about what he hasn't done rather than what he has, because like he just one journalist, let alone someone with like 15 million followers, be so associated with us.
Journalist.
It's mad. Yeah, I've never seen someone tweet about us so much in my life. I mean, and that's including myself. It is wild, but yeah, I don't know. It is weird, but it is what it is, right? Because I know that he's obviously engineering something or whatever he's doing. I don't even know. I can't slander the guy because I don't know him. But I mean, what he is doing, it is annoying for us as fans, because we're reading it thinking, for God's sake, like, just give it a break for just 2 minutes. I mean, like, if the players go, it's on them, because they're the one that have gone. And I know we have our innocent minds talking about as fans, and we've been through it all together, and it's been a big building process. And then you take your innocent mind off, and you go back to being the person that understands football and says, "Oh yeah, but then they've got more money than us, therefore they'll go there." And it's like, I don't know. Where does loyalty end? I don't know. And McAllister's quotes have obviously been misquoted because I don't believe them, but we'll see.
Well, someone said that one of the articles that Fabrizio Romano quoted was from 2019 when he was talking about, Real Madrid being one of his favourite teams.
Real Madrid, yeah.
Caicedo, Real Madrid. And so, just one thing on Romano, because he has actually annoyed me this week. because first of all, the timing of it I think is awful.
Yeah.
Like he fully knows what he's doing in the 3 or 4 days before a cup semi-final.
Was it the Friday, wasn't it? I think when the Caicedo one, he posted the Caicedo one.
Yeah,
he
literally the day
tweeted
before.
every day in the
The Real Madrid one. Yeah, the Real Madrid one was,
it was the day before. And like, I just feel like the timing, like you can easily wait until after this game. Like, you know, whatever story, if you're going to pick an article from 2019, you can definitely wait until after the game. I mean, it's clearly, I feel like, do you know what it is? Since Brighton admin mugged him off, so I'm blaming you, Brighton admin. Ever since he mugged him off,
watching this as well,
he's definitely had it in for us. Like, yeah, shout out to you. 100%. Ever since you tweeted that and mugged him off about the Cucurella transfer, he's literally been out to get us. Like, he's actually not even. He's not even hiding it anymore. It was a great tweet. I loved it. But Romano's been out for us, and he's trying to purposefully try and get McAllister and Caicedo, like, circulating rumours and interest around them. Like, there's no two ways about it. I feel like it's not even he's hiding it anymore. But you know, if the guy's got to do what he's got to do, he's that. If that's what his sort of game is, and if he gets a commission from agents, I don't know. But if that is the case, then yeah, to me it does seem like he does target us at the moment, and it feels the timing of it for me was horrendous. Like, do your
Chelsea
thing,
stuff feels really
do your
big
journalism.
to us, I think. Like, I feel like there's way more to this whole. This is all a conspiracy. Like, I'm not blaming Fabrizio. I'm not blaming anyone at Chelsea.
No, of course. Like,
because I don't want to lose
a
uphill battle before the end of this year, to be honest, against people way more powerful than I'll ever be. But what I will say is, but on a conspiracy theory, with my little tinfoil hat on, it does feel a little bit, since all this Chelsea stuff. You know, obviously Brighton are getting better, and we're getting a bigger club, and we're getting bigger players. But I don't know. It just feels like. Yeah, Chelsea particularly, something's rattled somewhere. You know, someone's pushing some sort of agenda, because it does feel like whenever there's half decent player that we want, they want them, and as soon as one of our players plays well, all of a sudden Chelsea are interested in him, and they're not signing a new contract, but they are signing. You know what I mean? It gets a little bit boring at the end of it. You know, the Colwill stuff is even more of a joke, and you read the Alexis and the Caicedo, and you know, it's not going to be long before they're looking at, like, I don't know, Danny Welbeck coming back to Man United again, and it's just like, you know, when does it end, Robbie? I don't know. It's a bit weird. It is what it is.
Yeah, just to echo Maz, admin, if you're watching, you've absolutely rustled Fabrizio. Now you've started an agenda.
Yeah.
I can just imagine that. I think it was. I don't know if it wasn't deadline day, was it? But I can imagine admin composing that tweet, typing away in the media room with some of the other boys, and then Paul Cameron's behind him. It's like that Star Wars meeting, him just going, "Do it."
Yeah.
That presents, do
Just
it.
Laughing,
or like maybe Paul Barber
published
or
a
Tony
tweet,
Blair.
and they're like,
yeah.
Watch this.
Idiot. But yeah.
Yeah.
But if you are listening, like we say every week, everyone please stay, and we'll have another day at Wembley, hopefully next year, and then get to the final. Who knows?
We'll be back, mate. We're too good for it to not come back, regardless of who's here next year. We'll be back.
Are you a fan of the Seagulls Social podcast? Have you thought, I want to be a guest on the podcast? And are you wondering what the logo of mine and Ryan's hat is? Well, we're here to answer all three of those questions.
We partnered up with a brand new app called NextGen Play. They're a Brighton-based company that are launching very, very soon, and we're here to tell you all about them and how you can win a chance of being on an episode of Seagulls Social.
Woo! Thanks, Maz. Now let me tell you a little bit more about NextGen Play. On the app, you can play games that win you gems. Gems then can be used to buy gift cards for Amazon and even Uber, which will come in handy for the next train strike on match day. You can even win real money by playing games on the NextGen app, and it's easy to withdraw too. So when you're worried about where you're going to get your next £5 from for a steak and ale pie in the concourse, just play some bingo and bingo. You've got your steak and ale pie.
And here is how you can enter to win a chance of being on the podcast. Step 1, sign up to the waiting list on NextGen Play website. The link will be in our Instagram bio. Step 2, follow NextGen Play on Instagram, and don't forget to tag a friend in the comments section for step 3. To better your chance, you can also share this video to your story for 1 extra entry, and follow NextGen Play on all their social media platforms for 2 extra entries. The links are on their website.
The winner of the competition will be announced in 2 weeks. Now back on with the episode. I want to talk about our cup keeper, our second choice keeper, Sanchez. I thought he was done pretty well, and even De Gea made a few decent saves, to be fair. Which is funny because obviously we've done that combined 11, and we filmed that combined 11. If people were confused of why we kind of bigged up De Gea, that was before the whole Seville howlers that he produced. But they both made a couple decent saves. Sanchez in particular, I think he made more decent saves, or had to make more decent saves.
Well, that
one
save,
against
save
Rashford.
the one that stood out for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
right in the corner.
Because it took a deflection of Webster's like in the thigh, and you think this is classic, like a deflection is going to send him the wrong way. Yeah, but it didn't. Luckily, Sanchez made a great save. Donkey ran straight over and was like hyping him up, and I was so happy for Sanchez.
I stood up illegally
before filming. Like I saw a few things about Sanchez. Oh fucking hell! Fair play to you, mate. The ball's on the kid.
Quick, sit down.
But I saw a couple of people saying that should Sanchez have maybe been substituted before the penalty shootout. Maz, would you have maybe brought Steele on for the pens?
No. I know Steele's got an incredible record at saving penalties, and I know he's very good at them. But I feel like, like when you, especially with Sanchez having such a great game, you think like the confidence is high, he's hyped. And there was one penalty, I can't remember who against now, but he pretty much nearly got a hand to it.
Was it Sabitzer's maybe?
Maybe, yeah. And it looked like he saved it, and everyone went mad. And then, So like, Look, like some people argue, Steele would have saved that. That's a bit so on, but you just don't know. It's like the kind of West Wing. I guess we'll never know. So, do you know what I mean? I guess we'll never know. So, I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been massively harsh. Imagine that Sanchez after playing 120 minutes. Football. It's
not uncommon practice now, though, in modern football.
No, it's not. Like we saw Tim Krul do it in the World Cup, and It's happened, throughout the last 30 years, but I think it would have been incredibly harsh after 120 minutes of football where he played exceptionally well to then sub him off and basically saying, we don't trust you to save a penalty, get in there, son, and do your stuff.
Which to say
I get
the game, though.
Yeah, but some players, like, they'll see Steele in or they'll see Sanchez in, they'll take different penalties based on who's in goal because, each goalkeeper's different, each player's different, and you know what I mean? So there's no conclusive way of saying Steele would have saved this, whereas Sanchez would have saved that because it's a different moment. There's been a different penalty. So I personally, I think Steele probably could have come on, to be fair, because I actually said it at the time because I was like, Steele's got a cracking record to see on the bench. Him at Charlton, I think he saw it save like 4, didn't he, or 3? And he did the same at, was it?
And then,
with
Newport before as well when he won us a shootout.
Yeah, so he's very used to saving penalties, but then there is a difference between playing Charlton away and Newport away and then playing United in a semi-final at Wembley, so I suppose in that sense, but
Well, those big occasions, I feel like if anyone would make a bold decision like that, it would be De Zerbi. We've seen some of the decisions he's made with the goalkeepers. But Ryan, I know you've just put yourself on mute, but I wanted to ask you as well. Would you, if you were the manager, would you have brought on Steele for the penalties if you were playing Football Manager right now?
Yeah, I think I would have done, but it's easy in hindsight, right? I mean, I liked Sanchez yesterday. I thought he was great. I thought he really had a great game. So it's not a dig at him, but purely for penalties, I probably would have done. I said it at the time, and I think his record on penalties is telling. And I think if you've got someone who can do something, use them to their strengths. And I think that's probably what you should have done with Steele. But look, it's easy to say, isn't it? Because I'm sure De Zerbi had reasoning.
Yeah. I've got a quick question to both of you. For the next 8 games, who's starting in goal? Obviously, Sanchez had a big game. Would you start him now, or would you bring Steele back in? And Ryan, go first.
All right. You can't drop him, can you? But I know that De Zerbi prefers Steele because he says it so many times. He says he prefers him the way he plays, the way he passes, and he probably is right in terms of the short passing. So I think possibly I could see it happening. But they're both very cool heads, and to be honest with you, I don't really feel worried with either of them. I don't think it's good to have a rotation of goalkeepers, but then I don't think at the moment, for us anyway, it's a bad thing either because they're both very big sort of characters in the camp. Like Steele's obviously got a big sort of cult following, hasn't he, amongst the squad, whereas Sanchez has obviously been our number one. The wheel of steel. So I feel like the players trust both of them, the fans trust both of them. Probably some prefer one or the other, whatever, but. You know what I mean? It's okay either way. It's like a 50-50. So I'm okay either way. Not to sit on the fence, but I trust De Zerbi, I think is the point.
Okay, but... okay. All right,
Steele or Sanchez?
Steele or Sanchez.
All right, okay, if you're going to push me, I'd say Steele.
Give us an answer.
I'd say Steele, but then
Steele.
I wouldn't drop Sanchez. That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like I prefer Steele
back on the fence,
but it's hard, mate, because I wouldn't drop him, but I don't. So
you're saying Sanchez?
I'll say Sanchez.
Yeah, he doesn't deserve to be dropped now, does he?
Yeah, he can't be dropped because he's not done. He's done everything wrong, so you can't drop him. Sorted.
But that's the problem with a second choice keeper because if you do have your good game and the league comes along again, then you are going to get dropped because that's just how it is. Obviously, we were so used to him being number one, but he's not anymore, I don't think. And yeah, to answer your question, Maz, I don't think he'll play in the league. I don't think he'll play tomorrow against Forest, for example. I think Steele will probably come back in if he's fit. 'Cause obviously, I know he was injured-ish, but maybe he's not injured now. What about you?
Yeah, no, look, I thought yesterday, you know, with Sanchez a few times this season, well, before he got dropped, especially, Palace being a very notable one, there was times where you thought, I don't feel confident. You know, as a fan, and let alone what the players thought, as a fan, when he used to come for crosses, sometimes commanding his area, he didn't really fill me with much confidence, whereas we've still actually felt pretty confident. We're like, he's quite assertive, but it's weird because you feel like Sanchez should be the more assertive and the more dominant because he's just, bigger and he's a bit more angry looking. He's a bit, he looks, you would expect him to be more that way, and I thought yesterday he was brilliant, literally coming for crosses, the big saves he made. I thought he was brilliant yesterday, and there wasn't one moment where I thought, oh wow, that was dodgy, or usually where you watch a game with Sanchez involved, usually you'd have a moment where he'd, I don't know, try and slide out of his box or try and drop a cross or something like that. So I think, yeah, he was brilliant yesterday, and I think it'd be so harsh for him to be like, right, you're on the bench for Nottingham Forest. But then I do agree with what you guys are saying. I think Steele fits our system much better. He's much better passer of the ball, and his distribution's much better. So it's a real tough one. But if I had to choose a number one, it would be Steele right now. But then Bobby Sanchez, I think with time, can regain his number one spot.
Yeah, that's fair.
There you go.
I think that's how it works. And then one last question on the keeper situation. And I don't know if this is too harsh, but my friend mentioned it. Maybe it's just because he was annoyed, but I think he said something like, a goalkeeper, being Sanchez, faced 6 or 7 penalties, didn't he, yesterday? Should you expect a keeper to at least save one of them?
But you can say that about De Gea, though.
No, of course, and De Gea as well, yeah.
They say that the goalkeepers have a 20%, no, a 5% chance or a 10% chance of saving a penalty.
Yeah,
I think it's quite low like
yeah.
that. So if you go in law of averages, he should save 1 in 9. So no.
Fair enough. And then I guess
your mate's chatting waffle, mate.
Yeah, no, I think it's obviously just. I did think, I was like, maybe better stay a jar.
I think it's harsh.
No,
I sort of get where he's coming from. Yeah, I get where he's coming from, but it's extremely harsh to sort of expect him to save at least one. I think. And
then obviously, so we did have to. I don't know if there's any more in the actual match apart from penalties, which we'll move on to. Is there any other noticeable things that we want to mention? Maybe Matoma's chance. I guess Matoma's big chance. Yeah, that is. When that did happen, I do think it was extra time. So yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong. I just felt like, and Undav's, ball drilled into him, horrendous touch.
Yeah,
and then Matoma's just like, you think on another day, like he
Matoma scores that literally like 9 times out of 10. That's what wins me up. You know what I mean? It's hard.
But my friend said to me, he was like, that was it. He said that was the moment.
Yeah, that was the moment, 100%. That one and the Undav when he got slotted in and the ball ballooned off his fucking face. But anyway, going back to, do you know one thing I actually wanted to mention and I thought what was really frustrating about yesterday, and I noticed Solly March and Matoma both did it a lot yesterday, was the indecisiveness of just pulling the trigger. I felt like they took that touch too many,
overthinking,
and that's what ultimately let us down. I think I don't know if it was the occasion or whatever it might have been, but there was so many times where I thought, just make the pass, take the shot. They just took that extra touch and they got dispossessed. And actually, do you know what? I'll give credit to a Man United player. I thought Wan-Bissaka was actually really good. And I wouldn't say he locked down Matoma because there was a few times when Matoma did get away from him, but he did. Yeah, he was defensively very solid, Wan-Bissaka, and I have to give him credit for that. And I thought, and to be fair, like Shaw and Lindelof, actually, barring a few moments, they were okay. Like they weren't awful. But yeah, I thought they Wan-Bissaka especially did do really well against Matoma, and I thought he handled him really well.
It was like what Zaha said to him. Zaha said when Palace played United, which was just sums up Wan-Bissaka and his defensive ability. He was like he was 1-on-1 with De Gea. He could hear someone running behind him, and as soon as he saw it was Wan-Bissaka, he was like, well, there's no chance, like, I'm going to get a shot away now.
Yeah, his recovery tackles are a joke.
Incredible, yeah, he's so good at defensive. I think we actually done a graphic about it when we were going to play them a few months ago, and then maybe it got postponed or something. We don't like this battle. We can't wait to see this battle. It's like Dr. Dribbler versus like the best one of the best defensive fullbacks in the league.
Yeah,
and we saw it, and yeah, maybe Matoma had an off day, or maybe Wan-Bissaka did lock him up. Or maybe it's a mixture of the both. Maybe it's a mixture. Of both.
It was just that final action for me. Yeah, it was just the final action for me. It was just that last touch, that last pass, and I just felt like that's what really let us down yesterday. It was the nervousness of that, and then Matoma was a prime example when he was through on goal. Just take that first touch, take a shot there, just shoot,
toe poke
just shoot, and he tried to get an extra touch, and obviously went away from him. And then
Estepinian,
like
hard, you know.
And
if you just got a little foot in, a little chip or anything, just something to trouble De Gea, and then you have something to worry about. But it just didn't happen.
The left side of De Gea was open. That bottom corner.
And also as well, just sorry, I don't want to keep digging Undav out. But there was another point where it was. I think we had 3-on-2. It was three of us. To be fair to him, he dispossessed the midfielder. And I was like, fucking hell, fair play. He's like, go on, son.
I think I said it's the best thing he's done.
Yeah. He's dispossessed one of the Man United midfielders.
It's such a big game. Yeah.
No. I do feel bad. And look, this is not an attack to say he won't become a good player. I think he can be a good player because there was glimpses. But yesterday he was poor. And there was a point where he dispossessed the Man United midfielder, and we had 3-on-2. All he had to do was just slot it out left with a simple pass, and he just passed it to a Man United defender. And I was just like, and I was just like, these are the moments where. Those final decisions we were making was just so frustrating. But we were under par, and it was just one of those days, wasn't it?
And anything else? I definitely think we're a bit into the pens.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think we're just quite stretched, aren't we, at the moment? We now got three games this week. Got United yesterday, Forest on Wednesday, Wolves on Saturday. We aren't a big squad. We've got it's going to be a strain. You can tell it's a strain. The players are starting to drop a little bit. I just hope, for confidence' sake, that it isn't something that's going to be a part of a temporary feeling, something that's going to stay in us for now and last until the end of this season, because it can be. Everyone knows it can be. Sometimes getting to a semi-final and losing is the worst thing you can do in your season, because it can really hurt you. But I really hope, and I think if there's anyone out there that can stop us from really getting sore from this, it is De Zerbi. He seems like the sort of guy, you saw him yesterday, went straight over to March, had his arm around him, proper consoling him, shout out Dunk as well, top captain, getting Solly in his arms and really giving him a good pat. And I think, that's what the players need these couple of days, just a good arm around the shoulder. And I think if there's anyone out there that's going to do it, it's De Zerbi, because sometimes, you need to just be a little bit of an arm round, and then you don't want to just be completely critical. Back in training tomorrow, boy, it's not good enough, and then I don't think that's going to happen anyway. But you don't want it to hurt you for the next couple of weeks. But let's hope it doesn't, and I think it won't. But we'll see.
Also, just to wrap it up and go into penalties, if Lewis Dunk can't get an England call up after yesterday's performance, he is like, I know it's
Darren
not
Southgate was there. He was there.
I know it's not going to happen. I know it's not going to happen because he's just not going to do it.
He watched a physical match of Lewis Dunk for the first time since USA.
Yeah, and he dropped to literally a faultless. I don't think it was one moment where I thought, "Oh, that's a bit dodgy."
No,
he genuinely put in a 10 out of 10 performance.
Yeah,
and he was colossal. And if you're not going to pick him, what's the point? Like, what is the actual point? Because even Carragher came out after the game and said, "Lewis Dunk and who's the other one?
John Stones.
Oh, John Stones are the best English centre backs right now." So look. I know Carragher isn't exactly
if Dunn gets called up,
Maldini, but he knows his football.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Please, just do it. I don't get why you can't. It doesn't make any sense. Conor Cody will get called up instead. I'm not getting myself back into 2021. It's pointless. It's a waste of everyone's time, including my own.
Let's go. I
feel like something happened. I did hear that maybe he didn't impress during training, as apparently. But
2018.
And then obviously, if that is the case, then
2018.
Yeah. But also, what I'm going to say is like. If let's say he had a bad training sessions with England, and obviously then he got his cap, which was brilliant. He's had countless games where he's been incredible since to earn another chance in training. It's not like this one write-off. Do you know what I mean?
And also, necessarily, just because you bring him to the squad doesn't mean you're going to play him. Like, he's like, bring him into the squad and see what he's like around the squad.
If you could tell me what you were doing in 2018, I'll take my hat off to you. I don't know. I was 17. How old was Dunk? I don't know. What was he now? 29? He was 24? Was he 30? Maybe 25? So
No, I think he's 30. He's 31 now.
Oh, is he 31? God, he's getting on a bit, isn't he? I'm joking. But yeah, I don't know. 25, 26.
Yeah, it'd be like 26.
He's changed. He's matured. He's a better player now. He's been a better player for about the last 3 years. I don't know how it's so hard to see. It's you can't define. And I remember he said on Talk Sport recently, didn't he, on that recent interview with Alex Crook?
Yeah,
Shout out Alex.
I was going to say
it was a good
that,
interview
yeah.
actually. And he said that he hasn't been in touch with him since he got called up to the USA team.
Yeah.
How long ago was that? You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say. The way he was smirking about it, though, wasn't he? Like Lewis Dunk was like laughing about it. I feel like there's something, maybe something happened, or maybe I'm reading too much into it. But maybe Dunk's just got to that point where he just laughed about it. For fuck's sake, that's something I was saying. But yeah, probably. Yeah, I don't know. I feel
explanation at this point.
It is. It seems that way. It does seem that way. But yeah, Donkey was laughing about it. Something tells me there's more to the story than that of him just not being called up again, because. How can you watch football and
Ivan Toney gets called up and he's a
him,
gambling addict. Like, how is that even possible? You know what I mean? So I don't even know.
Oh my god!
Breaks the rules.
And he can take penalties, which is something
Ivan Toney is the biggest. It's the biggest joke. It's the biggest joke. He's under so much investigation. Thomas Partey as well. We don't even get into that one. But Ivan Toney gets called up for the England squad. Right? Gets called up for the England squad. With all of the stuff going around at the moment on his head. How much has he got on his head at the moment? It's a joke. It's mad. Right? Don't get me wrong, he's a great player. Great player. And I don't know what the odds are on that, Ivan, but come on now. For you to get called up over Lewis Dunk, it is mad. It is a bit mad. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave it there.
Yeah.
I've got a lawsuit and now an England lawsuit coming in. Not to mention the other one as well. Arsenal. Great. I'm done for, boys.
English penalty takers, Webster, great. Dunk scored. Solly March, unfortunately, did not. It was literally a spitting image of the Charlton one.
Yeah, Charlton.
It looked like a conversion, Johnny Wilkinson conversion. Same thing.
One thing I want to say...
Sorry, he just looked terrified when he was walking up to it.
He did, didn't he?
I know, because I saw the highlights afterwards. He looked shell of himself. What made me question why he maybe put himself forward to be 7th, like even 10th. Or even Sanchez ahead of him, I saw people say. It's like, put Solly March last on pens, is what we've seen in the past. He does not deserve to be. And maybe he still has confidence to what De Zerbi's instilled in him to be able to be like, yeah, you know what, I'll take the 7th pen, I'll put Charlton behind me. Fair play to be able to step up, because also it takes balls to do that.
But Ben, you also got to remember, 7th penalty, it's not like he was part of the original 5. Like,
no,
you can't help it. Usually it's done by the 5th or the 6th.
Honest, yeah,
he wasn't expecting to take a penalty. Like, you can't like put that. Yeah, I just didn't really understand that whole logic yesterday. Everyone was like, "Oh, why was he 7th?" It's like, mate, you're usually
there's not many left.
Exactly. You haven't got much choice. But Jesus Christ, what's wrong with you?
You shouldn't be looking at Solly. You should be looking at
he did look terrified.
Matoma. There's players out there that should be taking them. These are big players. Matoma, he's one of our highest goal scorers this season.
Exactly.
We know Solly can't take pens. He should be stepping up. Or you've got Caicedo.
Yeah. I saw someone tweet saying Matoma and Veltman had taken penalties recently.
Another one.
Yeah, and one thing I noticed as well. One thing I noticed as well was the game, the mind game. So obviously, Wakehorse said something to him in the build-up, and then
kissed the ball.
Kissed the ball, and then De Gea said something as well. And prior to that, what I found really strange was, apart from I think Sanchez on one penalty, he shook the bar. There was no mind games or any kind of like thing to put people off. Like I know some people don't like it, and some people say it's not sportsmanlike, but that's the whole point. It's like you're trying to put them off their game.
Emi Martinez would literally spit on their face, punch them in the mouth, like do anything to distract them.
And I felt like both. You saw there was a video as well of Casemiro, obviously going like, Casemiro was doing all that. That was because he was basically he was trying to say to De Gea, make yourself like a nuisance, do something weird, like make yourself weird, like because Casemiro wasn't just he wasn't just moving around weirdly for no reason. Like, he was trying to say to De Gea, try and put them off by moving. So I did find that really strange that neither Bobby Sanchez or De Gea did anything.
Too nice.
Yeah,
some of our players.
It was a weird one.
So Wout Weghorst apparently had a quote after the game. He was saying he went up to all the United players and was like saying, let's really get into them. Let's get them play mind games, all that sort of stuff. And apparently not many of them did, but he obviously took it upon himself to kiss the football and say something to Solly. Yeah, and it worked. The donkey distracted us. Messi was like,
And then he done the
I wish we
90-yard
had
dash.
that. I wish I had that attitude.
Yeah.
The
wish
90-yard dash
dance
to
now.
do
Yeah.
the knee slide as well. Bloody Wout Weghorst, mate. Wout Weghorst literally done a 90-yard dash.
Oh, mate,
He done
that
Adebayor on
Weghorst
us.
video. Oh, that made me sick.
Yeah, he done an
when I watched
Adebayor
that.
on us. I can't believe
That
it.
was horrible to watch. Like,
Well, they
at
do
least
it
we
to
get
the
to play him in
Brighton
2
fans.
weeks.
No, he did it.
No, he went to United,
He did it
but
to
it was still like
He did
it
it
was
to
still
United.
unbearable to watch. You do it on his own, what weirdo. But no, what is good is we get to play him in like
Embarrassing,
2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks or maybe 3? So
Yeah,
we don't have
May
long
4th.
till we play them again. May the 4th, is it? Oh, it's exactly the same. Oh, it's only a week away then,
May the 4th be with you.
or 2
May
weeks
the
away.
4th be
But
with
yeah,
you,
mate, if we owe them now. Not like as much as Tottenham, but
Yeah.
we owe them. You know, we should get them.
Before we go on to Forest, just quickly, I think just again, I don't like to give credit a lot to Man United, but credit to both teams. I thought both of the teams, apart from the Solly March penalty, I thought there were some excellent penalties in there.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, my angle wasn't the best, but with regards to all the penalties, I thought they were fantastic, and I haven't had a chance to see them all, but I think both teams put them away, and of course, yeah, it just
Centre
came down
backs
to that
burying
one.
penalties for fun.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
even Lindelof's
exactly.
winner was a brilliant penalty.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
So,
just- and then it's just a shame.
I
It's
think-
got. I obviously don't want it to be anyone, but for it to be Solly March, it's just have all the players. And
Had to be,
no,
didn't it?
we've kind of been a bit against Dennis Undav, but Dennis Undav scored
Good
one.
pen.
When he walked up, I was like, "Here we go."
Oh my
Here we
god!
go.
Wait, if he had missed, I do
Yeah,
not
that
even
would've
want to
been
know because
heartbreaking.
basically around us,
This
like
is a
around
really
us,
good
like
point.
a lot of people were going in on him. Like,
Hmm.
a lot of people were going in on him. So imagine if he had missed.
Okay.
I think it would have been bad for him, man. Like,
So
really
let's
bad.
put that. So
Really
let's
bad.
put this as the agenda because look, I do. It does annoy me. The one thing that does annoy me about our fans is how they get onto certain players. And I don't get me wrong, I get it. Some are worse than others, and some are better than others, but they're still human. Like everyone's gonna love Solly, and everyone's gonna love Solly, even if he was the worst player this season. He's the local boy. Everyone will love him. Undav, if he missed that, if it was the other way around, if Solly had buried, if Undav had missed and blazed over that far, I would hate to see
it
Social
would
at
have
the
been
minute. I'd hate to see his
carnage.
comment section, mate, because it would be horrible. Like he would be welcome to the Amex.
He would
like,
have
from
to
a lot of
deactivate.
fans. It's mad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
that
he would have to
serious.
deactivate all his socials. And
Yeah, it drives me mad. Like, if it was Danny, if it was Dennis, if it was either of them two, they're getting onto him. If it was Mope last season, it's a different story. But all of a sudden it's Solly and it's different, So I think that we should hold the same.
Solly I've seen a few horrible tweets about Solly though as well. Like it's just
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
no
but
matter who it
it's
is,
the
even if it
nature-
is the golden
Yeah.
boy.
It's the nature. Yeah, it's the nature. Look, I don't condone it, of course. Like, I think anyone to get that upset about a football match, I think is quite sad. But like, of course, look, you. I said that didn't come out right, but as in like, there's levels, right? Like, you can get upset. You can have a really be upset about the result.
To go and,
but then
like,
there's
yeah.
abuse. Like, there's a level above.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's a level above going to abuse players and like be
Messaging them.
and being like.
I had
vile
it.
and,
My
all
God,
that kind of stuff.
my
So, look,
DMs. Me and Harvey. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Me and Harvey were talking about it. It's like DMs at the minute are crazy.
Yeah, like there's
Really.
it's just there's no need to take it to that next level. And look, I'm going to be perfectly honest. As a fan, I was frustrated at Undav, and of course, I berated him a few times,
Yeah,
and I might have said
that's
stuff
alright,
that I probably aren't proud of. But I was in the heat of the moment. But like now, I've come away from it. I'm like, look, he didn't have a good game. He was pants, but that's not to say I'm going to go and DM him or I'm going to go and go egg his house or like. Do you know what I mean? Like take it.
I don't get the messaging thing. I
take it
never
a step too
understood
far.
it. I never ever in my life
it's
have thought
beyond
I'm
me.
going to go DM someone like a fan or a player.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna send him as much abuse as I can think of, or I'm gonna send him like a load of bad emojis. Like I don't get how people can just do that. Like what goes through your head to do it? I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Well, it's because they don't have. They feel like they can't be held accountable because obviously
Yeah.
they're online. Like they don't feel like. But trust me, I promise you right now, you would absolutely shit your pants if you saw Undav in front of you. There's no way in hell you would write any of the stuff you
You'd
put
have
on
him.
social media. If he was
Big
right in front of
German
your
boy.
face, you would literally wouldn't say any. Well, no, any of the players. Literally, I promise you now, these big like trolls online. I promise you now, you put them in a room with any player that they've taken the piss out of or whatever. I promise you now, they would absolutely shit their pants and they wouldn't say a thing to them. So yeah, they get brave online and then they don't have the balls to say it to their faces. So
Weird
it's the world
one.
we live in.
But he was on Buzz's boot room as well this week, and I started to warm to
yeah.
him, and I thought his personality is quite funny. So he made me laugh a bit. And obviously, yeah, I've sat here and I've given him stick, and I'll stand by it because his performance wasn't good enough, I don't think, for that level of match. But yeah, it is a shame to see that happen to him. But I guess the only silver lining is the fact he didn't miss it. Otherwise,
we've said this before, Ben. Sorry to interrupt you. I know we've said this before, but we're allowed, as fans, we're allowed to criticise players, and I think that's completely fair. We're allowed to, give our views on if a player's played badly, and that's just our opinion at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and again,
fine.
I think we've done it in a respectful manner. Like, we've sat here and we've done it respectfully, in my opinion. I don't think we've said anything sort of extremely harsh. But then I think that's where people get very, there's different ways of being able to communicate these things. Like you can easily say a player's been bad without, going out and giving them death threats and calling them, being racially motivated, for example. Like there's lots of ways you can go about, giving your opinion and your distaste to a player or whatever. You can call a player crap, that's fine, but just do it in a nice manner and
you can say someone's had a rubbish performance. You can say you're a clown for missing a penalty, but you can't go and send them stuff like you don't. People don't do that. Normal people, normal thinking people up here don't do that. Like you've got to be pretty weird, You're not right up here to do that because you just don't. It's not something that should come into your head to go do.
Lets people down.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a minority, but it's annoying to see.
Anyway, I guess that's kind of it for the semi-final until next year. We'll be back. Yeah, Forest. I guess it's kind of echoing what you just said about 10 minutes ago, Ryan. It's like, how do the players bounce back? I've full faith that De Zerbi will be able to get some confidence back in them. And yeah, I think you mentioned about how seasons can derail after like a big moment like that happens. But I think that kind of happens to teams when they don't have anything else to fight for. Let's say the FA Cup was just the thing we were fighting for. The season could derail after that. But because we are so close to achieving something quite incredible of reaching Europe, I feel like the players are good enough and have a good enough mentality, and the dressing room is so on point that we probably will have the mentality to be able to bounce back and hopefully dispatch Nottingham Forest on Wednesday night.
And I think we've touched on it already, but I think De Zerbi won't let the players do that. I don't think he'll let them just down tools or get demotivated or whatever the reasons might be of maybe performance dropping. I just don't think he'll allow it. And hopefully we have Ferguson back. I know he's out for the Forest game, which I think is a huge blow.
Please.
I don't think he's going to be fit. I think De Zerbi's already confirmed it, unfortunately. So we have got and I think Welbeck came off injured as well. So it looks like we might have Dennis Undav on top. Which,
I've every bit of faith in you, Dennis. Forget what I just said for the past 50 minutes.
Yeah.
You're the one. You're my number 9.
You'll score a hat trick. Don't worry about it.
Do you know what?
But yeah, it looks like,
if there's
unless
ever a
he
moment
does
for Dennis
like a false
to really,
9 or something.
Yeah, prove it and step up. It's now, mate. Like it really is an opportunity for him to really prove it. And you've got the whole of the Brighton fan base in the palm of your hands here. We're going up there to watch you, and it's going to be a big game. I think it's a big game. It's another big. All of them are big games. It does feel like a big one at Forest City Ground on a Wednesday
Every game's
night.
a cup final.
BT Sport. I don't know, those relegation teams on a BT Sport or Sky on a night game always seem to scare me a little bit. And I think especially after a semi-final loss, it's big. It's big for morale. It may not be big in the league, but it's big for morale. So you want to go win that game. And I think if we do, it'd be a big moment in our season because it's going to be, it's important psychologically to not throw that because then doubt sets in, not just in the players but in the fans, and you don't want that.
Yeah.
I think we can stop that from happening if we do go win.
Yeah. And I know I said this earlier, and we shouldn't be these entitled fans and looking down on teams. But if we are going by league table and we're going by form, Nottingham Forest are a team we should be able to beat based on form and league position, which it doesn't lie. The league table doesn't lie.
Dennis Undav's level. I'm joking. Just kidding.
Talking of injuries, they've also got I think 8 players out. Obviously Henderson's out, which is a key.
That's right. They signed 30 others in the summer.
Yeah, true. They've got like a 100-man squad to be fair, so they should be able to deal with injuries, unlike us. But I think they've got a lot of key players out, and they are on I think a 4-game losing streak, I believe.
Yeah,
I don't think they've won in the last 4 games. No, 5. Oh, Sugar. Wow. The last time they won was Leeds back in February the 5th.
Brilliant.
So,
brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah,
It's so good to know.
That's that written in the stars. Yeah, that's that finished. No, they.
If I speak, I'm in big trouble.
They scored past 2 against Liverpool on Saturday. Morgan Gibbs-White and Nico Williams.
Yeah.
Cheers. No, obviously got to give them some props because I do rate some of their players. I think Nico Williams could be, probably will be. He's got potential to be. He's got potential to be a good right back in the league. Gibbs-White is good. I didn't think he was that good when he signed. I questioned obviously the price tag like many people did, but
It's done well for him.
he has been really really good. And then they got Keylor Navas, which is just so random. Like how they got that goalkeeper in goal, who's obviously who's conceded quite a few as well. He obviously doesn't have Champions League Varane and Sergio Ramos in front of him anymore. He's got McKenna,
Champions League Varane.
McKenna and and who else? God knows who else. Who's the other centre back they normally play? They've got Matt McKenna guy and
McKenna. Declan McKenna.
The Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
He used to play for Atletico.
Oh no, that's the left back, Lodi. No, I'm talking about the centre back. Yeah.
No. It's another Atletico Madrid player. Hold on.
Oh really?
He plays centre half. What's his name? He scored. Oh, hold on.
Felipe.
I'm going to get this because it's going to bug me.
Yeah, fair.
Felipe, that's it.
Oh, is it? Okay, right.
Is that him?
Yeah, such a random squad.
Could be. Brennan Johnson.
Brennan Johnson's good. Thank you for reminding me. He actually looks pretty decent. And when we played him at home, it was that game where we thought we were going to have an XG curse under our new manager De Zerbi again, wasn't it? I think was that after Liverpool? Was that after we drew 3-0 with Liverpool?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something like that, and that was a midweek game as well, wasn't it, Ryan?
Yeah,
I think it
I
was
went with my
pretty
sister.
miserable weather as well.
Yeah, Mia came with, and we watched it, and we were just like, oh my god, because there was a guy next to us who was raging, and I was thinking, here we go again. This is exactly the same as COVID, like no different. It's going to be people.
Yeah, those were worrying times.
Yeah.
But look how far we've come since. I don't know if Maz is still looking, but Ryan, what do you reckon for tomorrow's Wednesday? Sorry, score prediction.
Yeah, Wednesday. I mean, as you say, we should be winning, shouldn't we? Really. I mean, if you take away the FA Cup, you go into that game, you think, we look at the league standings. We need to be winning. We need to be up in the European spots. So you want a 3-1 win, a 3-0 win. I have a feeling they'll score just because it just feels like. I don't know. It feels like it's going to be tougher than it should be. That's what I've got that in my head. It's going to be a hard game. So I think probably, maybe we win 1-0, maybe we win 2-0. I think we'll keep them out. We'll keep them out, and I'll say 2-0. We'll finish them off. If we're on our game, if we bounce back, we get one, nerves will calm. If we go in at second half, we haven't scored, doubt creeps in a little bit. You start wondering, are we falling off? Are we not? And then you don't want that. So hopefully we score nice and early and first 20 minutes and we're in our groove. That'd be nice.
We have the quality to do it 100%. I feel like, I'm hoping, but I feel like it'll be similar to the Bournemouth one more recently, 2-0. Get a goal kind of midway through the first half and then kill the game off later into the second half. I feel like that could be it. Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game at all. And especially so quick after playing on Sunday. And again, it will be probably a very similar 11 again. It'll be unless I can't see us making any big changes, and those players will be straight back on the pitch again. Whether they'll be fresh and ready for it, God knows. But Maz, score prediction thoughts?
Yeah, no. So I agree with both of you. I think it's going to be a really, really tough game. I actually went to Nottingham Forest versus Sheffield United last year in the playoffs.
I met you
went
before,
for work,
remember?
and do you know? Oh yeah. We went for a coffee. And the atmosphere was. I've got to give credit to them. It was electric, and I know, of course, it's very different games. It was a playoff semi-final compared to a midweek Premier League game. However, they're still fighting for to stay up in the league. They've still got things to fight for, and I think the atmosphere will be electric. For them,
a night game at BT screams electric because
that's
annoying.
Yeah, exactly. So that could definitely come into it a factor. I'm not saying crowds win games, but that can definitely like Ryan said, if it gets to 60th, 70th minute and it's still 0-0, or even if they go 1-0 up, that's going to be a massive uphill climb. So I just hope that isn't going to be the case, and hopefully we can bounce back. And yeah, I'm going to go with a very tight 1-0. I just want us to win. We've got like however way we do it, just please get a result. And yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really tough game though. I think Forest will be up for it 100%.
Cheers, it beeps, man. Wait,
Jeez, Peeps, man.
Yeah, 1-0. 1-0.
1-0, yeah, tight.
I'm saying 2.
Albion.
Okay. I'm saying 2. Even though I probably don't sound like I'm saying 2, but yeah, I think maybe 2-0. I have faith that we have that quality in our team to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Especially as they're obviously not playing as well at the moment. I guess that is it.
We do have some good memories against
bit
Forest.
A sad one.
Not there. We do have some good memories there. We obviously had the Joa moment, very famous moment.
Sidwell?
Header
Wow, yeah.
to get to the
Sidwell?
playoffs.
Sidwell
Sidwell in the but Sidwell
No,
as well. He
Bristol,
scored 2015-16 volley, hit the ground,
What,
I think
at Forest?
knockout
Oh,
very
God,
late
yeah,
on.
yeah, sorry, yeah.
Very late on in the game.
Yeah,
That
no,
is
I do
such a
remember that,
memory
yeah.
right
I
there.
don't know if I don't know.
The yellow
There you
kit.
go. That is
Yeah,
good
fair
memory.
play. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's. I knew I was
So
right.
I thought
Yeah.
you were right. So I thought you were talking about Bristol.
3-0 at home
Really
as
halfway
well.
line.
First game of the season of the promotion year. We've had some good games against them. Murray's first double, I think it was. I think he got 2 goals in that game. His first game back for us. That was against Nottingham Forest. Yeah, we've had some good moments against them.
So
And
it
there's no
sound
reason why
like
we
Jack
can't do
Albion
it
right
again.
now, Ryan.
Yeah, we had Will Buckley scored a volley there. Stephen Ward scored a goal there. Yeah, we've had some good memories there, and I don't see any reason why we can't continue. Let the Albion 2-0 win. That's it. Solly March double.
Thank
That's
you
last
for
bit.
listening. Yeah, that would be nice if he scored, wouldn't it? And just run over to the fans.
Oh,
We all
Ben,
hug
sorry.
and kiss.
Just before you do the outro, massive shout out to everyone who showed love. Literally, the Green Man
Lit up
at
Box
Park
Park,
around the stadium. Literally, the amount of people that came up to me and just said like how much they love the podcast and just showed us so much love. Like, yeah, big shout out to everyone. Like, appreciate everyone. Also, as well, someone tweeted me and Ryan going like, "Love, really nice to meet Ryan and Maz. Like, really nice guys." And then someone replied going, "Maz looked miserable." I was like, "Did you see me after the game?" Because prior to the game, I was in a very good mood actually. I was very smart. I'm always a very smiley person. So yeah. So whoever said that, you're fake news. You must have seen me after the game when I was visibly very upset. For a good hour after. So maybe you saw me after the game. But no, yeah, just a big shout out to everyone who showed love. Like, the amount of people that took pictures and showed love was incredible. So yeah, a big shout out to everyone.
Yeah, there's a lot of love. Do love going to games and listening to people saying how they love the pod. It is good. It's good to know we're doing something.
I cringe when I say this, so I can't do it. So thanks, guys. Anyway, let's wrap. Sorry. Anyway, that's enough.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Anyway, bye.
thank you for listening and watching and viewing. Oh, sorry, quickly, one random thing. Why was our touchline of staff like so incredibly long? We literally had like everyone's family on the touchline.
I like that.
It was great. No, it was really nice, but it was just so long. We had so many people out there. It was great.
We actually. Yeah, togetherness, exactly. That's exactly the word I was going to use. Also, as well, comment down below.
That was all our scouts, mate. That's what they were.
So, show some love to Solly March. Comments down below. Right,
yeah,
March.
fill the comments with March love.
March. March.
We
love.
love you,
yeah,
March.
put March. No, just put March love. March love. Get it?
March love. Yeah, March love. Clap.
See, someone said to me, someone goes, "Do you come up with a podcast title?" Because I feel like you do, and I was like,
Fuck
obviously,
off.
Obviously, I do.
That is so funny.
No, I'm
Ben's
not, you're
done
not
it for
taking
2.5
all the credit for
years.
that.
That is so shameless.
Are you actually taking a mic? I suggested that Ben like tinkers it by one word.
Yeah, more recently.
You're
More
shameless.
recently.
You two
More
are
recently.
shameless. Shameless.
Sorry,
Yeah.
one last thing. Paddy Power done a tweet about Undav, which was quite funny. I thought I put it in my notes. I wanted to say it was
God sake,
funny.
more
to be honest.
Undav
They
slander. I can't do this.
Sorry, yeah, they put Dennis Undav must have been signed when Brighton's recruitment guy was on annual leave.
Anyway, thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you do like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Make sure you're subscribed on Apple Podcasts, Spotify as well. Leave a review if you're new. And we'll see you very, very soon after Nottingham Forest.
Peace. Yeah.